Oh, there's someone in here. I didn't even know that. I don't even know how to play Iron Man. I never play anybody's songs. Uh, there's a few of them. Let's see. Do I remember Paranoid? Something like that. Shit. I don't think I played that one since I was a kid. Like a teenager. Okay, that was enough of heavy metal hell for the moment. Let's get into something deep and meditative. Let's see. start that over. I got totally lost on something there. I don't know. I don't know what that would sound like through my Firefly. What a different effect. I know something I'd like to try. Hold on. Okay. Oh shit! I got an idea. Oh. If I still have you, I know it's here somewhere. I just don't know where. Oh, hold on here. I'm trying to get a bow. I know I got one somewheres. Where? Oh, right there in front of me. Man, if it had been a snake, it would have bit me. Get this down. I don't know if I can do this. Oh man, people left. I went through all that trouble to get ready to do something. Oh yeah. Well, I really need to put a strap on this sucker to do this. Well, let's see here. Boy, I should have to keep my audiences riveted. Oh well. Guess I'll sit here and do some mellow stuff. I'm surprised. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize someone was in here. I was checking something. I had to trying to keep up on. When you're gone, who gives a shit? I don't. 'Cause we can find a different setting. Oh, missed it there again. Let's set on.
always getting into trouble when he was out gambling. Now, the main reason that West chose Pollard, Alabama as his hideout was due to his brother-in-law, Brown Bowen, already living there. Remember him? The murderer and rapist who killed Tom Heldman while he was asleep? That guy? Yeah, in-laws, am I right? Well, it's this association with Brown Bowen that would ultimately lead to Hardin's arrest. More on that in a moment, but it's worth noting that West didn't spend a whole hell of a lot of time with his wife and kids there in Alabama. He made an attempt at the logging business, but I guess that nightlife just kept pulling him back in. As such, Hardin was constantly on the move, just traveling from one gambling town to another, both in Alabama and Florida, and oftentimes struggling to earn even enough to send back to his family. Little did he know that it would all soon be coming to an end. By 1877, a sergeant in the Texas Rangers by the name of John Barclay Armstrong got himself promoted to lieutenant. No stranger to violence, Armstrong had made several arrests during the Sutton-Taylor feud and showed additional pluck by apprehending the noted Texas gunman King Fisher. And following Armstrong's promotion, he set his sights on the fugitive John Wesley Hardin. Assisting him in these endeavors was an officer from Dallas named Jack Duncan. Jack had previously worked for the Pinkertons and was appointed as a special ranger with one job and one job only, to help Lieutenant Armstrong catch Wes Hardin. Using his expertise as a detective, Duncan was able to befriend Hardin's father-in-law, Neil Bowen, over in Gonzales, long enough to intercept a letter to Neil from his son Brown. The note, with a return address in Pollard, Alabama, included a message from Brown's sister sending her love. His sister, of course, being Hardin's wife, Jane. Bingo! By June 20th, 1877, Armstrong and Duncan were in Montgomery, a little over 100 miles northeast of Pollard, and had already ascertained that Hardin was going by the alias of John Swain. As such, they requested warrants in both names, just in case.
Granger knows that if you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, you go to great lengths, and sometimes heights, to ensure power is always flowing. Which is why you can count on Granger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Found out that Hardin was off gambling in Pensacola.
The
Rangers then enlisted the help of Escambia County Sheriff William Hutchinson and hatched a plan to catch West right there in Pensacola as he attempted to board the train back to Pollard. And sure enough, just as they hypothesized, West walked straight into the trap. According to Hardin, he had just stepped inside the train and was enjoying a pipe when two lawmen came up and grabbed him from behind. West began hollering up a storm, yelling out that he was being robbed, and one of his traveling companions, a 19-year-old Jim Mann, panicked, pulled out a gun, and began firing wildly. This was answered by Ranger Armstrong and the others as they shot back and killed Mann. Per Hardin, quote, "In the meantime, I was fighting for liberty in the aisle with my three antagonists, who had been reinforced. They had me on my back, 2 or 3 men clinging to each arm, someone on my breast, and others trying to catch my legs, which I was using with a vim. Once in a while, they would hit me over the head with a 6-shooter as the unequal fight went on. I would not surrender or keep still. I swore I would never surrender at the point of a pistol, and I was not going to do it now. At this time, Armstrong rushed into the smoker with a drawn revolver, put it to my head, and told me that if I did not surrender, he would blow my brains out. I said, blow away, you will never blow a more innocent man's out, or one that would care less. Someone else was trying to strike me over the head with a revolver when Armstrong called out, 'Men, we've got him now. Don't hurt him. He is too brave to kill, and the first man that shoots him, I'll kill him.' They finally bound my hands behind my back with a big cable and then tied me to the seat of the chair. I still had the stem of my pipe in my mouth, and someone picked up the bowl, filled it, lit it, and gave it to me to smoke." End quote. That's pretty cool, but I'm calling bullshit on Ranger Armstrong saying that West was too brave to kill. Remember, that's the exact same phrase that Hardin claimed Jack Helm used, and it's also very similar to the way Hickok allegedly spoke to him after that border roll incident. It's my amateur opinion that this was just West's ego at play. Years later, when writing his memoir, it was very important to Hardin to let the readers know that other dangerous men considered him brave. Other than that, though, West's version of the arrest is pretty accurate. Main difference being, instead of calling Hardin too brave to kill, Lieutenant Armstrong simply swung his heavy revolver against West's head and knocked him slap out. Matter of fact, Hardin was so slow in awakening that Armstrong was afraid he had killed him. While still asleep, they chained West's legs up and fished out the revolver he had concealed in his pants. There's an oft-repeated story stating that Hardin was attempting to pull his gun, but that he got hung up on his suspenders. And if it wasn't for that stroke of bad luck, he would have either escaped or gone down in a blaze of glory. Truth is, Hardin, for whatever reason, had looped his suspender strap through the pistol's trigger guard. Great way to conceal a weapon, but not exactly conducive for a fast draw. Oh, and by the way, Hardin had a third child by now, a daughter named Jenny. She was just a month old at the time of his arrest, and he wouldn't see her again for another 17 years. The Rangers arrived back in Austin with their famous prisoner on August 28, 1877, just 3 months following Hardin's 24th birthday. So numerous were the curious spectators surrounding the Travis County Jail that the lawmen had to bodily lift Wes up and carry him inside. A month later, Hardin was transferred 150 miles north to Comanche to stand trial. Normally, a sheriff or maybe even a deputy would handle such a job, but Wes was a special case. Not only was he heavily shackled from head to toe, but he was also escorted by an entire damn company of Texas Rangers. And this was not just to prevent him from escaping. The Rangers were also tasked with stopping any potential lynch mobs who might be planning on stringing Hardin up. One of the Rangers would later recall that Hardin, quote, deported himself with the utmost decorum, evincing no restlessness, although his patience was sorely tried by the gaping crowds who gathered at noon and evening camps to stare at him in the face with a sense of curiosity that knows no delicacy. He was quite communicative, talking freely of his terrible adventures, expressing regrets for what he termed his errors and hopes for the future. He is what ladies would call a blonde, about 5 feet 10 inches high, wears his whiskers in the French style, and is fairly educated in English in the common school branches. He has been wounded in several places and suffered one old bullet wound on this trip hither. End quote. Now, the trial would begin on September 28th and last all of 2 days. Believe it or not, Hardin was only being tried for the murder of Deputy Charles Webb, and not any of his other numerous killings.
Actually,
a reporter out of Weatherford noted that Hardin's demeanor was free and easy throughout the trial, and that he was often smiling and chatting with the lawyers. This cheerful facade would not last. After 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a guilty verdict, and John Wesley Hardin was sentenced to 25 years of hard labor at the Huntsville State Penitentiary. According to at least one paper, Hardin wept bitterly in his jail cell that night. But be that as it may, he still wasn't ready to call it quits just yet. Hoping for an appeal, West began a letter-writing campaign to various newspapers throughout the state. At one point, writing, quote, I have been compared to the beast of the forest, but, my dear readers, I am a human being, a native of the great state of Texas, and all I ask is law and justice, which I hope I will yet get, end quote. Now, I know what you're thinking, but you got to remember the central theme of this entire series. Hardin was never in the wrong. In his own mind, he was always justified. And ironically, that was kind of true when it came to him killing Deputy Webb. By most eyewitness accounts, Webb drew first. Hell, he was even able to nick Hardin with a bullet before being gunned down. Even though West was the aggressor, he was still technically defending himself by killing Webb. Had it been proven that West drew first and gunned down the deputy in cold blood, he'd have likely been sentenced to death. As it were, he was only convicted of second-degree manslaughter. The only thing that stopped him from getting acquitted outright was the evidence showing that he had previously